Welcome to Microsoft Virtual Academy's session on Windows 10 Device Guard. My name is Jeffrey Sutherland. I'm a lead program manager in the OS security team in the Windows and Devices group. Today I'm joined by Nate Nunez, program manager also in the OS security team. And Nate was on the team that built Windows 10 Device Guard. Welcome, Nate.
Thanks.
To begin with, can you tell me exactly what is Device Guard?
Sure. So what is Device Guard? When we talk about Device Guard, we like to start by talking about the new world that enterprises face today, where security is becoming increasingly more important. And you can see the stats for yourself on the slide here, but the average cost of a data breach, for example, costs an enterprise $3.5 million. And clearly, this is becoming more and more of an issue for companies. And to protect them, we've worked on the solution called Device Guard, which doesn't consist of a single feature, but rather is separated into three features. The first of which is configurable code integrity, a way for enterprises to talk about what code is allowed to run versus not run on their devices. And then the second and third parts have to do with virtualization, and they employ virtualization-based technology to secure the code integrity policies. So, for example, hypervisor protected code integrity is one example where the code integrity policy is no longer living in the operating system, so that we add an additional level of isolation to that policy. And to touch on the third part of Device Guard, Device Guard really allows for enterprises to aim for locked down PCs, and a Device Guard locked down PC requires certain hardware features to be present in the devices, but with those features, an enterprise can lock down their machine. We are now looking at Device Guard ready and Device Guard capable systems, working with our OEM partners so that enterprises can, right out of the box, have this fully Device Guard protected system.
So it sounds like organizations that are facing kind of more modern threats, where we have nation states who are compromising their systems, that's kind of the bread and butter for what Device Guard is intended for. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you mentioned a bunch of security features built on hardware and virtualization. Does that mean that I have to have brand new hardware in order to use Device Guard?
No, that's not correct. We can actually turn on the meatiest part of Device Guard, configurable code integrity, without any of these hardware restrictions. The other two portions of Device Guard, however, do require certain hardware features to be enabled.
Okay, and that's where the Device Guard ready and Device Guard capable come in, where an enterprise would actually talk to their OEMs, their hardware manufacturers, to determine which devices are supported for those virtualization features.
Correct. The Device Guard capable devices have all the features that are needed, but they may not all be configured. User may have to go into the BIOS and turn on virtualization, for example. The Device Guard ready systems are ready to use Device Guard right out of the box.
Okay, so that actually sounds kind of complicated. Sounds like on some devices the hardware may not be configured right. How does an IT pro go about figuring out which of the devices in their environment are actually ready to run Device Guard?
Well, we have a few venues for this. The first would be to talk to the OEM and ask them what Device Guard capable devices they offer. We also have tools for people to look at their devices currently and figure out which virtualization and other technologies are there on the device. So these include the Win32 AMI class, and there are a couple other ways to do this that I can't remember.
So you mentioned the WMI class. I think you also have a tool, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, so tell me about that tool.
Right, so in addition to the WMI class, there is a Device Guard Credential Guard readiness tool, and this can be run, and this tool will scan the hardware on the device itself to show what Device Guard and Credential Guard capabilities are available on that device.
Excellent. So I'd love to take a look at what Device Guard looks like in action. So I think you have a demo prepared for us in the audience.
Cool, let's do it. Let's take a look at what configurable code integrity looks like. I've set up two computers here. On this first computer, there is no code integrity policy being enforced, so I should be able to run the files that I want. I can show you here the 7-zip application, which should run without any problems. I hit yes, and 7-zip installation is able to begin without any problems. And now to contrast, on this second computer, I've actually configured for a code integrity policy to be set in enforcement mode. So on this computer, if I try to open the same 7-zip installer, it should not be allowed to run. Code integrity should catch and block it. And right here, you can see this error dialog showing that your organization used DeviceGuard to block this app. Contact your support person for more info. All right, so now that we've seen what it looks like for the application to be blocked by code integrity, I want to switch back to this first computer where we are actually running a policy in audit mode. That way we can track and audit these events as we try to run applications that would be blocked if the policy were in enforcement mode. So let me pull up the event viewer here and I can show you where these events are created and how to look at them. You can navigate to Applications and Services Logs. Under that, Microsoft, and then Windows, scrolling down to the Code Integrity folder. And the first item in this log references 7-zip, which did not meet enterprise sounding level requirements or violated code integrity policy. However, due to auditing, the image was allowed to load.
So the idea here would be that you can actually apply the same policy in audit mode first, test with it and make sure the apps that you expect to run are working, and then eventually put it into enforcement mode. Is that kind of the idea here?
Exactly. It's a very important step to test in audit mode before switching into enforcement mode.
Excellent. Well, thanks, Nate, and thank you to the audience. We'll be back in a few moments to talk about a little bit more about features of DeviceGuard and specifically how to get apps to run on a system after you've got a code integrity policy enforced.